Hello everyone and welcome to episode 16 of In Case You Missed It. My notes have just disappeared literally just as I said that.
That's embarrassing, isn't it?
It is a little bit embarrassing,
Not for us though.
I'm James. I'm here as always, consistently on every episode that features more than one person. As always, I'm here with Steve.
Hello everyone, how you doing?
And Tommy.
Hello.
And as always, just going ahead and like and subscribe on iTunes and Spotify. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube, go and do that.
Yeah, we're living a big push right now on YouTube.
Yeah, but you can go and listen to our podcast on there, and you can like and do whatever and subscribe, and it might be an easier way for you to listen to our podcast.
Yeah, we've got In development. We've got a lot of good stuff coming out.
In
at the
Dispute.
moment. In Dispute.
In Focus coming, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
dropping.
we just had our Pokemon episode of In Development that was out during the week.
Yeah.
So go and
What's
listen
next
to
week?
that. Next week is In
Dispute.
Dispute.
In Dispute. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. So go and listen to that. If you're hyped for Pokemon, go and listen to our In Development, what we think should be the next film in this Pokemon franchise.
Yeah, let us know what intends you want to see, what in Focus. You don't know what in Focus is yet.
No.
You can guess though.
But if you're listening to us on YouTube, we're also on iTunes and Spotify. So go and listen to us on there and subscribe and leave a comment on there and a rating. That would be dandy. So let's go into the trailers this week. So we got a big one the other day. We got Spider-Man Far From Home, a second trailer for that. We get a little bit more story this time, as you normally do in a second trailer.
Well, especially given the end game situation. So if you guys don't know this, there's a little button before this that says, if you haven't seen Endgame yet, this trailer is going to spoil it for you.
Ironic coming from Tom Holland, known
The
for
king of
spoiling
spoilers.
stuff. But what did you guys think of this trailer? We get a little bit more look at Mysterio, seemingly coming from another dimension.
But it is Mysterio. Is he telling the truth? If he is telling the truth, then I'm all for it. Other dimensions, a 616 universe, another universe, that's fine. But he could just be telling a whole load of lies. And like we said before, it could just be the syndrome route where, oh no, I'm a good guy, actually jokes, I'm a bad guy. I'm going to be arrested, then put into jail, and then shoved into the Sinister Six movie down the line.
I hope it's not that. I mean, we heard a theory today, which you guys will hear in like a month from an episode we recorded with a very special guest. But I won't give any more away than that.
No.
But I hope it's not the whole syndrome thing. I think that's too obvious and too boring, to be honest. But this trailer looks really fun. It's really good. More of the same.
Yeah, it's cool seeing like a post Endgame world. Obviously, having. Are we doing spoilers for this for Endgame? Can we do spoilers for Endgame?
We are now.
We are now.
Go for it.
Okay. Obviously, seeing the death of Tony Stark and how that really affects Peter, because we didn't really see that much of it in Endgame. Obviously, we saw him quite distressed and then him at the funeral, but haven't seen any kind of onset effects from that yet. And it's the whole with Peter Parker. He's not a Freddy Naked Spider-Man anymore. He's, as Nick Fury says, he's been into space. He's seen a whole lot. He's an Avenger, so it's really about responsibility. And how
Kobe
much he can
Smulders
take.
is back.
Maria Hill's back.
And you kind of, if it wasn't clear already, Spider-Man's going to be the new Iron Man. That wasn't.
Seems like it.
And we get a little bit more Iron Spider, which
Which
kind of
my
surprised.
favourite suit in the comics.
Yeah, I really like that suit, and I'm glad they're using it. And it makes sense story-wise. They continue to use it.
Good suit.
It's a good suit. We also see a shot in the trailer of him wearing Tony's old glasses.
Yeah,
He seems a little bit shocked by something he sees there.
Yeah,
It's probably
do you think
going
that
to be
could
a
be
message from Tony?
A message from Tony. There's also talk as to whether the voice in one of the suits could be done by Robert Downey Jr.
No, I think part of his death is that he wants to be gone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he'll do this one last little thing.
I saw a theory that he can see that the elementals are an illusion when he wears the glasses. That's why he's so surprised.
Oh.
He can see through the tech, maybe.
That's interesting. Yeah, I reckon there'll be some sort of message from Tony though.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, because that scene in Endgame. But I'm also glad to see Happy back and more Jon Favreau is always.
Yeah,
he's
been there from the beginning.
Yeah, and so it's always nice to see him passing the baton. He obviously being the leader or the assistant to Tony Stark is now the assistant to the replacement of Tony Stark essentially.
I really loved him in Homecoming as well.
Yeah,
He was a really good addition to that.
Yeah.
and it seems like MJ is gonna know who Spider-Man is.
Which is, I'm all for that, because I hate the whole mystery thing, especially with Mary Jane in the original Sam Raimi trilogy. It was so obvious that he was Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and she never got it.
To an
it's
extent,
painful.
You had in the Andrew Garfield ones, it was kind of he just took his mask off for everyone.
Oh,
But I don't know. I think they're doing it the right way. I think it makes sense that people in his class kind of know, like, it must be so obvious to them that obviously
Spider-Man
Ned now
Sully in Venice and Sully in London were there as well.
Ned found out obviously in Homecoming, and so it just kind of makes sense. And
it's a bit convenient that they apparently were all snapped, so they can all still be the same age.
Yeah,
but
it is convenient, but that's kind of the problem with Endgame. But I think they're gonna deal with some of the repercussions from that. But it's convenient that all the major Spider-Man characters all got snapped.
I think it should be brushed aside. Well, that was a weird event. Brushed aside, then the story continues.
Yeah, like, we were dead for 5 years. Crazy.
Literally, I think it'd just be like that. It'd be like, oh, that was a weird event.
It's just weird. It's just convenient that all the main cast.
But that's why I don't know. It's odd to me that they did in a way, I kind of like this 5-year gap, but then at the same time, it just doesn't make sense in a way, because they're gonna have to explain all this stuff, and it just makes, especially this example where you're gonna have a whole class of people like that are seemingly miss it, like half of them are gone, and it just happens to be Betty Brant, MJ, Ned, Peter Parker, all the ones that are left.
It would be cool to see maybe if like MJ or Ned didn't get snapped and they grew up like 5 years.
Yeah,
he's coming back.
That would have been cool.
That kind of relationship.
I think that would have been cool to see for Ned.
Yeah, like he's more mature.
But also really
Actors,
like that.
Yeah.
So as always, we do a yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Strong yes.
Van Helsing?
No.
No. What a surprise. Let's move on to the next trailer that we got for a film called American Woman. It was quite a slow one this week, so there aren't really many big ones. So this gave us a chance to look at some of the smaller films that are coming out. So this trailer for American Woman, starring Sienna Miller, like as a mum who's lost a child, a teenage daughter. It kind of came out of nowhere in that it's not the sort of trailer I'd go out of my way to watch. But it surprised me, and it looks like we're going to get a really powerful, moving performance from Sienna Miller in it.
Yeah, definitely. It gave me kind of like Gone Girl kind of vibes.
Yeah,
Gone.
That kind of big.
Any other Ben Affleck films about people going missing?
Yeah, but that kind of big, overarching narrative of someone missing. I love those kind of films where you have to piece together yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'd be a slow burner, but it'd be really something to keep an eye on, I think.
I think it looks fantastic. It's my sort of film. That's exactly what I want in films. I can't wait to see it. Cinema looks fantastic in it. Aaron Paul looks really good as well.
Yeah.
I've never really been the biggest fan of him. Not the biggest Breaking Bad guy. I actually quite liked him in Need for Speed, which is a terrible movie.
No, I haven't watched it.
Although the practical effects in that are really good.
Yeah.
They blew up real cars. They blew up real fake cars. Fake real cars.
Yeah, no.
CGI. They did it in camera.
It was cool.
I'm all for seeing more Aaron Paul. He doesn't really seem to do that much. He does a lot of voiceover stuff, doesn't he? For BoJack, and
that's really it.
I think he has another show, but I don't know. But yes, no, maybe.
Yes,
100%.
Yes
I'm totally down for it.
Van Helsing?
No.
Like
vampires, spinning blades.
The next one that we got was The Farewell, starring Awkwafina. I think that's
Awkwafina.
Something like that.
Like awkward.
This one is gonna make Tommy cry.
And me cry.
Yeah.
By the looks of it.
This is excellent. And I was thinking as well, also Awkwafina, but I don't think films like this would have got made without the success of Crazy Rich Asians last year, which was such a great movie that came out, and I'm glad people went
also
to see
starring Awkwafina.
I said that on top of that, but
I'm sorry, I apologise.
Slam dunk.
Talk about Awkwafina. But yeah, this looks really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing this sort of fold out. And I love learning about other cultures and stuff.
Slice of life.
I mean,
kind of thing,
I know little things. I'm not completely ignorant to it, but just like the little tiny touches and stuff. But the comedy in this drama looks really well placed.
Yeah.
Big yes from me.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see Awkwafina in this sort of role. I was expecting her for, like, when I saw that she was in it, for it to be a little bit more of a comedy. But she has obviously proven that she's got the chops to do this sort of thing. After she was in Ocean's 8 and Crazy Rich Asians last year.
She's good in Oceans as well.
Yeah,
she's really blowing up.
I don't know. This trailer really impressed me, and yeah, as a man who doesn't cry in films, I'm probably not going to cry at it, but I might get close.
You might just sigh deeply, like,
maybe.
Maybe.
Steve, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I said I'm all for it, kind of slice of life films, and kind of looking at different kind of type of culture.
Yeah,
and it'd be good to see as well, how American Chinese and then like like
traditional
Chinese and how they interact as well, and they're kind of I guess even they have a cultural barrier of like Western appearances and media and when it comes to like cancer and that and medical treatment, how they handle it. So I think it's going to be a very tough watch for
definitely a tough watch. And I think, like you were saying, Tommy, is that due to the success of like something like Crazy Rich Asians, it really allows us to see that, like, if this had been like a more Caucasian cast, like it perhaps would have felt a little bit more generic and stuff that's still been seen before. But the fact that it is a Chinese Asian cast and that brings in that other culture that like makes it more interesting and makes it a yes for me. Yes is all round.
Well.
All round.
Van Helsing.
Don't compare it to. Don't do that.
I'm gonna do it. Van Helsing.
It's a
you
no.
compare it by having Van Helsing at number 2 all time.
Yeah, it's still a no though.
No.
One
day. One day.
Van Helsing better than wow.
So the last trailer that we got was for a horror film called The Lodge, starring Richard Armitage. What did you guys think? I know, Tommy, you're not a big horror person.
I'm not at all, but it's horror films like this that do get me interested. From the beginning, I was like, this looks a little generic, little cookie cutter for my tastes. But then it kind of just felt a bit different, and I like the more natural horror films as opposed to supernatural, and I hope it is a little bit more natural.
Yeah.
Or if it is supernatural, at least a little more subtle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm quite intrigued by it. I think normally with a horror film, I pretty much just write it off my radar and it jumps on because of crazy critical success. But this one, I'm gonna keep an eye on and see what the critical response is to it.
Interesting.
I hate this trailer so much.
Yeah, you let out a big sigh after you watch this trailer.
It was like a contemporary horror trailer 101 in terms of how it was presented. Slow panning shots, violin strings that are plucked in different tones, captions saying, "Oh, this is going to be the new genre of horror. This is the one to watch." It just looks so generic and like boring to me. Like I said, hopefully it's just the trailer and how it's been cut. If it's a trailer too, then I'll watch that as well. But in terms of horror, like I'm kind of with Tommy. I'm not a massive horror fan, but if I do see online and that is catching some steam, like Hereditary, stuff like that, I'll pay attention and watch it.
Did you watch Hereditary?
Yeah, I watched it.
Did you like it?
Didn't like it
because I kind of got that similar sort of vibes from this trailer. I was when it started, it did feel like a generic sort of horror film that we've seen 100 times. But then at a point, I started to it was probably more the trailer that sold it, which credit to the people that made it. I was to a point I was thinking, maybe it's just a sort of film that I'll catch on Netflix or something when it comes out. But then as I started to go more into seeing the flashes of stuff that potentially happened and the weirdness of the film, I kind of got more on board with it. And that's kind of Hereditary seemed to be the wise vibes that I got from it. And The Witch was the other sort of comparison that I think is going for that sort of style of horror. It worries me when they put from the director of a film that I've never heard of.
It's like, what's this?
As if they said it it's a big thing. I think it was like Good Night Mummy or something. I've never heard of that film, and as the biggest horror person in this room, that kind of worries me a bit, but you never know.
I mean, if it goes kind of full-on Evil Dead reboot, like cabin in the middle of nowhere, things going on, the dad returns a week later or whatever to see like absolute carnage, count me in for that. But
as a no for you.
I think Good Night Mummy is an Austrian film. It's Austrian filmmakers.
Oh, okay. What would it be for you, Tommy? Yes, no, maybe.
Maybe. I think I'll see another trailer. I'll listen to it. I'm not just writing it off. It's not just like another horror film I'm not going to watch. There was enough in there to make me think and consider maybe watching it.
It was a cult, wasn't it? You and Cult.
It's the cult.
You love
the
the
cult thing.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the cult.
It kind of turned from being a maybe to a yes for me as the trailer went on. So, but Steve, will it be Van Helsing?
Not in its wildest
It won't be
dreams.
worse than Van Helsing. I flipped the question on you.
If it was Hugh Jackman,
I flipped the question. You just said it's going to be better.
You just tricked me. No. If it was Hugh Jackman alone in a cabin in the woods, surrounded by flying vampires, then maybe. But it's not.
With spinning hand blades.
Zoom. You know me well now, see?
So it's been a quiet week for film news in general.
Yeah,
There's one really big thing which we'll touch on, and it'll probably be the main point of discussion. But we'll talk about how Richard Madden is is in talks to join the Eternals
As Icarus.
Cool.
as Icarus. Yeah, I like Richard Madden. Obviously, he was Game of Thrones. Got known as, I don't know if you guys watched The Bodyguard.
I've seen bits of it.
I really liked him in Cinderella.
Then Cinderella as well. But The Bodyguard for me was the one that sold him. I really recommend the show for anyone who hasn't watched it. I think it's only like 6 episodes. So it's a short little watch, but he's really, really good in it.
I think he's probably been the most successful Game of Thrones star coming out of it in terms of like
I can
acclaim.
think of a few.
Who?
Emilia Clarke.
No, but I think a lot of their films have been hit and miss, really. Like
Yeah,
Terminator,
She's got like the biggest
Never Let Me
role.
Go.
What?
Sans' name.
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner.
That's another one. I'd say Kit Harington's probably on
He did like
similar sort of level.
Did you guys see...
what was that spy film he did?
No, I was going to say Pompeii.
I saw Pompeii.
It's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
They try and do Gladiator at the same time as Pompeii. It's so weird.
It's a mess.
Yeah, he was also in like that remake of that. Spooks.
Yes,
Spooks, that was it.
Spooks, yeah.
But I think he'll probably be on his way to getting bigger stuff. After Game of Thrones finishes, I imagine he'll be in a franchisey sort of, maybe Star Wars.
Well, this is I think the Eternals. Hopefully, if it really hits.
I was talking about Kit Harington.
Oh, Kit Harington. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Richard Madden. But in terms of Richard Madden, yeah. If this film is a hit, we have no idea what the Eternals is going to be about.
Well, obviously, there's been rumours already of Angelina Jolie and Kamal Nanjiani being in the film.
Yeah, I think we've heard from Kevin Feige that it's going to be like a rom-com throughout the ages. That's what I've heard.
I was a fan of him from Stargate Atlantis, but also Jason Momoa coming out of Game of
Jason
Thrones.
Momoa actually, yeah.
Oh,
Aquaman.
yeah. See, there's loads of people that are successful from Game of Thrones, Steve.
Okay. After debate, personal opinion. Anyway, but yeah, I think with the Eternals, we don't know hardly anything about it. Like, it's such a diverse.
Technically, it's not even
story.
confirmed yet, but
No.
so the other big news, kind of relating to what is exactly relating to Marvel, is that Disney released their schedule. So we got a few updates and a few new dates for films. So I'll kind of go through the years and look what changes they made. They put out their 2019 one, but we already know what that is. But the first big changes we're going through release-wise is that New Mutants is moving once again to April 3rd next year.
Just kill it.
Still a thing.
It's still like... It was interesting because obviously I think it was April last year that it was supposed to come out.
I think so.
If
If this film could speak, all it would say is "Kill me."
it is. There have been rumors of reshoots to try and make it scarier, but even I think it was Maisie Williams came out and said like we haven't done anything yet. And then obviously the merger happened with Fox, so it kind of got put on the back burner a bit. And it's obviously been made, so Disney are gonna make money from it. I guess it makes sense.
Just put it on Hulu or Disney Plus. At the end of the day, for them, it's just gonna be like pocket change. It's extra money for them. Like they know that this film's not gonna make.
Does anyone care about this film?
I mean, I think they're just worried about their canon at this point, aren't they? Which is
Yeah.
why just drop it on the streaming platform where the canon doesn't count. And
But it's still got a release date. But the odd thing is that a week earlier, it's a different audience. But you've got Mulan, the live action Mulan will be
totally
coming
different
out.
audience.
It's
yeah.
gonna
Totally different
it's
audience.
gonna
But
dominate though.
another one
Counter-programming.
that got pushed quite a way back was Artemis Fowl. It's now
Yeah.
moved to May next year. Steve, I know you're a big fowl. I was going to try and come up with a word to like name Artemis Fowl fans.
Fowlet?
Sure, Fowlet. Go for it.
I mean, it's about 10 years too late for this film. To be
100%
honest.
is.
Yeah.
Like, it's completely missed the boat. It's not going to be franchise material. It's going to be a one-hit wonder. Well, not even that. It's just going to be like a one-hit. 10 years too late. It's missed its boat. It's got like Judi Dench in it. As that's probably the most notable person I can think that's in that film. Once again, for Disney, come up with Endgame and the whole host of.
Who's doing it? Is it Kenneth Branagh?
Yeah.
Kenneth Branagh, yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, for them, it's just going to be pocket change. It's just extra cash in the bank.
And then in the middle of the New Mutants and Artemis Fowl, we have an untitled Marvel film May 1st. I imagine that's the Black Widow one, as that's the first one they've got.
Yeah, because I think they're going to start filming February this year.
She's producing
February
it
this year,
as well.
September this
Yeah.
year. Sorry,
Scarlett Johansson, that is.
Yeah.
yeah, she's producing it. She's got a lot of money for this.
So that'll be the first potential film of Phase 4. It still says untitled. I imagine we're still going to get that Phase 4 announcement thing like they did with Phase 3.
When's D23?
Soon, isn't it?
July, isn't it? Ooh, I don't know. Another film that we've got is Bob Burgers film in July next year, if anyone cares.
It's a good show.
People do
It
care
is a good
about it.
show.
Yeah, it's.
But a film of it?
I think it's in the same vein as Community, where they had like a good series. It's like a film as well. I think you'd do okay if the fan base of that film shows up at the cinema, and it's actually funny, it could probably work as like, is it going to be R-rated? Do you think? I don't really
Bob's
know.
Burgers.
Yeah,
Should be.
Don't know. I don't imagine it will. I reckon it'll
play it safe and go for like a
12A,
12A,
PG-13.
We'll
sort of
see.
thing.
I think it's relying a lot on the fan base because, like, from an outside perspective, people you could have no idea who these characters are.
Yeah. And then just after that, you got Jungle Cruise, which is the Rock's next film.
Yeah,
based
August
on
Rock and Jack
D23, by the way.
Yeah,
August. Yeah,
23rd to
I knew it was
25th.
on.
yeah. It's
So
based
Jungle
on the
Cruise,
rights.
yeah, right, based on the right with The Rock, Emily Blunt, and I think it's
Jack
Jack
Whitehall.
Whitehall playing the first openly gay character.
Yeah, openly gay. There's a massive Twitter storm a couple
Yeah.
months ago because obviously he's a straight chap playing a gay character. But look into that again, as you will. But
Because they had that in
With
Beauty and the Beast as well.
Beauty and the Beast, different sort of thing.
yeah, it was a different
I
sort of thing, but casting wise. But
Still a
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was delayed. Wasn't it meant to be coming out like
It was supposed to be coming out this year.
this
I believe.
year? Yeah, I think it's all done.
Well, obviously not. If it's coming out next year,
Yeah, because I think The Rock is busy doing.
reshoots.
Not
Jumanji.
necessarily that they park stuff.
Yeah,
I guess
that's true.
so. Yeah, but
Like Cabin in the Woods was done like years before
Yeah.
yeah.
that came out.
So the next kind of big one is Death on the Nile, which is obviously a sequel to
Yeah.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Kenneth
Another
Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh one. So he's going to have a busy 2020.
Yeah, it is.
I really like that movie actually.
Yeah,
It's
I
not as
really
good as
like
the
it.
original, but
I really like a good murder mystery, and we don't get enough
There's
these
a nice
days.
style to it. I thought that film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Look forward to seeing the sequel.
yeah,
Great cast.
Amazing cast.
amazing cast, and I'm sure we'll get another stellar cast to come for Death on the Nile, which will be October next year. The next big one from Disney will be an untitled Marvel film, November next year. The Eternals,
The
right?
Eternals, talking about money in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure one that Tommy will be buzzing about, and I'm sure you will be too, Steve. West Side Story, December
I can't wait.
18th,
Spielberg.
Oh,
20.
It's interesting
20.
because we're going to get. I think that's not too far from when Lin-Manuel Miranda's adaptation of his first musical, In the Heights, is coming
Right.
out. So it's two big, like Latin American musicals at once, which is
Yeah.
interesting. So there's, I'm sure they've had a casting nightmare, but I can't wait for both actually.
yeah.
How happy are you the musical is back?
I'm fine with it. I mean, the first one is fantastic. It's Best Picture winner. I've seen it on the big screen. It's
I meant just
incredible.
musicals in general.
Music. Oh, the genre.
Yeah.
Couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
Couldn't be happier. As long as we get more films like In the Heights, La La Land, West Side Story, and less whatever it's called.
So we'll have like what,
Great
in,
show.
in the
Great
Heights,
show, man.
West Side Story, and Cats as well next year.
Oh, Cats.
No, I think Cats is this year.
This really?
Yeah. It's not Disney or
Oh, I'm gonna have a look.
Fox or anything, so it's not on there. But
We'll
the
go
last
back.
one to round out 2020, while they look when Cats comes out,
Yeah.
is Cruella. The
December this year. 20th.
Emily.
Yeah.
No, not Emily.
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
You put me off, Steve.
Sorry.
So yeah, Emma Stone playing Cruella de Vil.
Cruella.
Do we need it?
They've
Cruella.
already cast Tommy.
It's.
Oh.
So that's 2020, and then as you may have noticed, there was no Avatar film.
Which breaks my heart.
We'll get to it in a minute. If we go to 2021, in February we've got Disney Marvel, an untitled Marvel film.
So this is really where it's anyone's game.
Okay.
Shang-Chi, maybe?
Shang-Chi maybe,
Oh,
No, we've
or
got to get another sequel in there.
What, is it say
yeah,
February?
I reckon February.
Black Panther.
Black Panther,
Black
'cause it'd be
Panther.
Black History Month.
Doctor
Yeah.
Strange. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so Black Panther seems to make the most sense for me.
Yeah.
And then you've got another untitled Marvel one on May the 5th. That maybe Shang-Chi,
New Avengers.
potentially. New Avengers. I don't know, I think it's a bit early for that.
Because isn't there
Depending on what
what,
they do with it.
there's been 8 films set up, but only 6 confirmed. So there's 2 films in play that haven't been announced yet, from what I've looked at.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Then there's just
Fantastic
various...
Four?
Potentially.
Be too early.
That, that would be the 4th film in Phase 4.
That's when you do it.
The stars have aligned.
Well, they've done it. Then there's just a host of, like, during that time, there's loads of Disney live action, Disney Pixar.
Is it released on the 4th of April?
What? No.
Yeah, I think,
Well, it's May 5th. So they could just move it a day earlier. But it's not in the 4th month. They're going to have to move it a month
April 4th,
earlier.
so April 4th.
what date is Onward, the new Pixar film? Was that next year or the year after?
That's next year. That is March 6th.
March 6th, okay.
It's the Tom Holland, Chris Pratt
Yeah.
animated
Yeah.
one. But yeah, 2021, there's just a load of untitled stuff. Pixar live action until we get to July 9th, and again, untitled Indiana Jones film.
Yeah,
Still
so
doing it.
I think we'll see how all that takes off.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see what they do with that.
Yeah, me too. 'Cause obviously, there's talks about Harrison Ford being back, so it's not like a reboot.
There's talks of him coming back. I don't know if I want him to come back.
Or if they do, I think they should recast it in like a Bond vein. Just have the next
that's
one.
exactly what I
And then
think.
have Harrison Ford as like a Kincaid style character, just like a senior. I don't know.
Or just do it in a flashbacky sort of way, like Harrison Ford telling a story of like this
teaching a class.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy with that. But I just don't want old Harrison Ford running around again. And I know Spielberg's now got this thing where he doesn't really like putting the Nazis in films after Schindler's List.
Oh really?
Apparently. So that's why he went with the Russians for Crystal Skull. But just Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones versus someone.
Indiana Jones to me has to be against Nazis. I don't know.
Or
Otherwise,
America
it just feels
himself.
weird.
He's on the run as a renegade. Do you think
Think of it Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible style? Do you think the
Fast and Furious.
It works.
It works.
I knew you were going to come in at some point and drop this. Do you think Chris Pratt being Indiana Jones?
No.
You think that boat is sailed now?
Boo.
Boo. I wanted Bradley Cooper,
Bradley Cooper. Okay.
but I don't think
I
they will.
wouldn't mind if they cast me to be Indiana Jones. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I mean, I can see it.
Why don't you just run everyone listening won't be able to see it, but if you just run out and drop your hat and then grab it and then we'll see what it looks
The
like.
other day when I was
Yeah,
running
yeah.
the
You
other day.
did. That's true. I remember it.
I'll be outside. I'll give you a short round.
Again, then there's a load of other live actions on July 30 and October 8th, and then we get to another Disney Marvel film on November 5th. That one to me shouts Doctor Strange.
Well, you keep mentioning all these live action Disney films. Have you got any predictions for these films?
But that could be anything.
Anything.
That could be live action versions of Disney films. I don't know whether that
Could
includes
be
stuff.
originals like Pirates of the Caribbean.
It could be sort of animation, sort of live action.
Oh, when's
like
Pirates of the Caribbean coming?
we don't
It's
have that.
not.
We don't have a release date. For
So
that.
that could be one of those because
It
they're
could be.
filming.
Are they filming?
Yeah?
Pirates of the
Are they
Caribbean?
filming?
I thought they
No.
scrapped it. There was a rumor that it's going to be about a female
there's-
pirate called Red. She's actually a bit of trivia for you. She's in the original Pirates of the Caribbean ride. But I think they just scrapped it.
I don't think it's scrapped. I think it's still gonna. I can't remember who was it. The Deadpool writers or something. I remember hearing they were on board for it.
There was a little bit, to have Johnny Depp come back as Jack Sparrow,
Which I think is the right way to go.
accusations, But coming from it now, the accusations have changed to not from him, but to his partner.
Yeah.
To Amber Heard, yeah.
So Johnny Depp is kind of being redeemed in a strange way, I guess. So it depends on how Disney want to handle it, and if they want to have Jack come back. Because I didn't like Jack in the last film.
I haven't liked Jack since the first film.
Really?
Well, I did, because they give him too much time. Like
He's a supporting character.
He is a supporting character. He should just be left on to do whatever he wants. The films became far too much about him. I liked it when it was about Orlando Bloom
So
and
Will,
Kira. Will and whatever the other one's name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather it was like that, and a supporting character works. He's not a main character because then the plot focuses on him and we get too much of him being silly.
Like he's got to bounce off other characters, he can't sustain it.
Yeah,
himself.
he's not a main character. It's like having. It's not a great example, but it's the first thing that came to my head. But like Chewie is like the lead character.
I mean, I don't know. I think I'd be into it.
No, the Chewie definitely wouldn't work as the lead character.
I don't know.
But he would work in a Fast and Furious movie.
He definitely would. Oh my god!
Space heist.
Because the original concept of him was like George Lucas driving in a car with his dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fast and Furious, they always drive in cars.
And they just have to add a dog.
A man dog.
Yeah.
A dog man.
Dog man.
Down,
boy, down.
And then, so there's live action ones. The November 5th Disney Marvel one, which I think will be Doctor Strange. And then, as we've got pretty much every year around November, they do a Disney animated one, which obviously this year is Frozen. Next year, who knows? I'd like just more original stuff, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a Frozen 3 somewhere in there.
What, by 2021?
Possibly.
Interesting that Gambit's officially been dropped then.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame.
Speaking of dead films, that one's dead now, right?
Yeah,
They've
that
just gone,
has
nope.
to be.
Nope.
I'd love it
was
if...
slated, was it March 2020?
I reckon they've
And
been saying...
that
they've been putting it
pre-merger,
around.
I'm pretty sure it was March 2020, and I think they've pulled it now.
That's been gone. That was going around
What's on
since
that
like
date?
2016.
What's March
or something,
13th, 2020?
March 13th, 2020.
I mean, poor
There's
Channing
nothing-
Tatum. He's
nothing
really
stopped.
got through
Well, he
the,
dropped out of it, then someone else was jumping on.
He was on
always
it.
for it. He
He
always
was-
championed it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he dropped out. And
They
someone
even
else
brought
was
him out on
speaking it.
stage like at one Comic Con, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think it was Apocalypse year.
It's kind of like the Dark Universe.
So like
photo.
2015, like 2014, something like that.
Because I think at one point
Poor
he
him.
was
I love
going
it.
to direct at some point.
Yeah, I remember even being involved in it, and then I'd love it if they just let Disney do one without him. That would be funny. But Steve, your moment has come. Avatar 2, December 2021.
Honestly, that date blows my mind. Considering was it 2009 was the original, or was it
2000, was it 9, Tommy?
I want to say 9 of that for the first Avatar.
I think it was.
Because 10 years
Yeah.
this year.
But the original sequel it was put down as 2014
I
and
honest,
just pushed back,
it's just-
push back.
I know. I think I said it before, but
No one cares.
I care about it.
No.
But for Avatar 2, a whole new generation of kids are going to grow up with this franchise. It blows my mind. Honestly, it does. Like,
Yeah.
It's been through one generation. Now another one's going to do it, but it's a sequel, so we're still going to have Jake and Neytiri and everyone back again. But all these kids are going to get back into it. I think for Disney, this is going to be a long-term investment. Obviously, we have
It is.
Pandora,
They've
Animal
obviously
Kingdom.
they've still got 5 Avatar films altogether, including the one that's already out,
They're doing it back to
And
back.
there's two
So I
back to
honestly
back,
hope that this film,
which we'll get
sticks.
to in a little bit. As we move towards 2022, there's just a load of Disney. All of this is untitled stuff. But the big talking point is that we'll then, in that December of that year, and it seems that they're going to alternate each year from Avatar to this, which is Star Wars in December. They've worked out that Star Wars makes money, and that's the place to put money. December, it's put a spot there.
I mean, the first Star Wars, adjusted for inflation, is still the second highest grossing film
Yeah.
of all time, and that was released in May.
Yeah, and
I think
Endgame.
Star Wars belongs in May.
Endgame.
Yeah, I was going to
is
say, are you
probably
against
gonna be-
December releases for Star
No,
Wars?
I'm against it. Star Wars belongs in May.
And Endgame is making money.
Yeah, Star Wars belongs in May.
So it proves that if you've got they put the time and effort into it. Obviously, the original Star Wars is like a different sort of entity in itself to the cinema going world we've got now.
Call me a purist, but
Yeah.
I just think that's when.
I understand, but it worked for Force Awakens, and I think they're relying on that.
It would
again.
have worked. That film would have made that money any
Yeah.
time of year.
Of course. And again, Endgame might make them change their mind again, because make them realize that they can make money when that becomes the highest grossing film of all time.
But are they going to shift their interests more to Marvel if they're making more money?
Yeah. But in a way, I kind of like that. I'd rather, because it means they're putting Star Wars on the back burner a little bit to give us a little bit of a break for that, because obviously it'll be 3 years difference between when we leave off in episode 9 to this, whether it's untitled, we don't know what it is.
I think it's going to be Rian Johnson's trilogy.
You think it's Rian Johnson's, not Benioff and Weiss?
No, I think it's going to be Rian Johnson's trilogy first.
Interesting. Steve, what are your thoughts or hopes for this untitled Star Wars? Because it's alternating each year from Star Wars to Avatar.
Yeah, either Rian Johnson's trilogy or we go back to the Old Republic and do it that way. But honestly, like, I've got no idea for Star Wars at the moment.
I think I'm leaning towards maybe it's just because maybe if I will it enough, it will happen. The Benioff and Weiss Old Republic. That's what I want.
So do you think?
I think they're going to want to lay the foundations for a new saga.
Yeah.
And I don't think Old Republic is that. I think that's just
think it
something
is
else.
that.
I think that's more Star Wars story fan servicey stuff. Whereas I think a new saga is just something different. And I think Rian
But
Johnson
I think there is room to develop that sort of story with the Old
because
Republic.
I don't want a new saga to be Jedi and Sith and the Force. I want it to be just other interesting stuff in the Star Wars
So
universe.
you'd rather see like bounty hunters and Mandalorians, and that sort of thing.
And that sort of thing. And I think the Old Republic would be much better on the streaming service as a show that Benioff and Weiss produce, because they're good showrunners. I don't know how they are as filmmakers. Never done a film.
Yeah. But
And Rian Johnson, it makes,
we don't even
I don't
know.
think he made the best, because I think the footprint for the saga films, I don't think he did very well with Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Whereas I think he's a very gifted filmmaker and storyteller, and I think he could do his own thing.
And I think that would please the Star. I think if he'd been brought on to do Episode 9 again, which he never would have been, considering the backlash from that film, or just any part of a series that was already started, I don't think that would have gone down well. But I think even Star Wars audiences are going to be willing to see what he brings to the table if he's given creative freedom to do what he wants to do. And the problem
give me
is
Looper in the Star Wars universe. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Give me something like that.
Well, time travel is a thing, isn't it?
Not time travel. I meant.
But to be fair, we don't even know if this is a trilogy of films. We're just assuming it is. Could be a load of. It could be
know
solo
we
sequels.
know that they won't do any stories.
No, it doesn't look like it. I imagine they're probably going to go
It'll be-
towards
yeah.
Disney
I think
Plus
the new
sort of
saga. I
things.
think it'll be Ryan Johnson.
It would be your bread and butter saga, probably. Coming from a DC perspective or a different film company perspective, do you think it's quite scary to them seeing that Disney is pretty much signposting we're going to dominate December for the next
Which
4
is
or 5
interesting
years?
because Aquaman has planted a flag. I can't remember which year it is. In December 1 year, but that's
'Cause you've
going
got Star
to
Wars
On the same
Avatar,
day,
Star Wars Avatar.
Yeah.
they're moving. They're moving.
Aquaman is moving.
Like,
Is it next year's one or is it 2022?
I think it's next year.
because normally we get like a animated Disney film in November, and then a Star Wars or
Yeah.
Avatar in December. So those
Yeah,
2 months
and
are pretty
that's-
much going to be Disney's.
That's exactly what Disney have come out and given us in their schedule.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's room for other stuff. I think there's always going to be
But
healthy competition.
They're keeping all of the slated Avatar films, which I don't know. I know, Steve, you've got your point of what. I know you're a bigger fan of it than myself and Tommy are, but five of these films.
It's
That's a
worrisome
lot.
for me because if it doesn't do well, these films are filmed back to back, and Disney are going to be sitting on this going, audiences don't like this, and we've already filmed it, and we've got to put it out year after year. Like it's so much of a gamble on them.
It's the James Cameron syndrome. Though people have
Yeah.
been saying poo-pooing Steve. People have been poo-pooing James
Yeah, it's
Cameron
interesting that you're excited for this sequel.
since before Titanic,
Avatar, man.
and
Yeah.
because of all the money you spend on Titanic, and
Yeah.
it crushed. And it was the same again with Avatar, and it crushed. So I can't do it. I just can't bet against him.
No, I'm excited for it because I think they've made some new stuff for equipment and that. I think
He's developing like technology, which is what he did with Avatar.
Yeah, I think he's done
new ways to film underwater and capture light and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
he's created underwater mocap, so it's gonna be fun.
Do you
to
think
see.
there's any potential? Because it looks like Endgame's going to take Avatar off number one potentially. We don't
see.
know it.
We'll see.
We don't know.
Could be number 5 on Steve's top box office this week.
We'll segue to box office in a second, but do you think that if Endgame does overtake Avatar, and there's an if at the moment, do you think there's any chance that Avatar 2 is making that same sort of level of money as the first one?
I think it's going to be dependent on how it's the people who turn up for it, like if it's hardcore fans or just like normal
Do you
audiences.
think there are any hardcore fans for Avatar?
I think there is.
No.
Oh, okay, well,
think
I
so.
wouldn't say you're a hardcore fan. Say you're a fan.
Yeah.
Just a fan, okay. Or just common audiences, and it's depend how it's advertised as well.
There's
Mm.
no one out there that can speak Na'vi. There's no one.
I bought the book. It's pretty hard. But yeah, it's like the
Do
first
you use
film.
papyrus font?
I do, yeah, all the time. And
There's
comic fans.
everyone who saw Avatar, which is everyone.
Yeah.
There's everyone that remembers the names like Neytiri and
Yeah.
like Na'vi, and that remember Pandora's a moon.
The only reason I know of Natiri is because of Steve. I wouldn't remember the name
I
otherwise.
knew the name, and then
I'd not remember Jake Sully.
and then
Jake Sully.
and then there's like the 3 guys that learn like Na'vi, thinking it's going to be the next like Klingon, and that's it. Then there's
Yeah.
James Cameron.
And there's
That's the
people who
levels of
just-
fandom.
Yeah.
Well, I think if it's advertised as, it's going to be another 3D event, you have to go see it in IMAX because it's going to look beautiful.
People aren't going to fall for that anymore.
You
No.
don't think so?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
Is it all being shot in IMAX? I imagine it would be.
Imagine it would be, yeah. I don't know what they said about it.
Yeah, I think people have clocked on now. Like, wait a minute, we don't have to go and watch it in IMAX. We can just watch it in normal.
I'm seeing it in IMAX day
Oh,
one.
yeah, like-
4D, I'm going for the whole lot.
We're on a different level to the general
Yeah.
audiences who like
Commonplace audiences.
don't want to pay as much money to
Yeah,
go and
exactly.
Yeah.
But I guess you could say the same about the first one. But I don't know. IMAX was still new.
It's going
then.
to be a word of mouth film. If this film's good,
Yeah.
then people are going to keep going to see it because it's
Yeah.
something that they do recognise. Go, oh yeah, I did like that first one actually.
Yeah.
If it's bad, people won't talk about it. People will say avoid it. But films like Transformers make stupid money, so
That's true.
who knows?
Yeah. So let's move on to last weekend's box office. We've got. Well, actually, no. I'm getting ahead of myself. I will do the box office first. So Captain Marvel came in at 5.
It was all wrong this week, wasn't it?
We were all wrong. I think Tommy, you were the closest, but we'll get to why in a second. because me and you both had Captain Marvel at 5, which coming in at 4.2 million with a 48.5% drop. Ugly Dolls debuting at 4 with 8.6 million. Long Shot coming in at 3, debuting with 9.7 million. The Intruder debuting at number 2 with 10.85 million. And Endgame coming in at number 1 with 147 million. Money.
Pretty good second weekend.
Yeah, you were the closest. I think you said 150 something, 153.
Something like that.
Something like that. So Tommy was the closest. It's obviously now past 2 billion worldwide. Avengers
11
Endgame.
days.
Blows my mind.
Took Avatar 48.
Yeah, and like talking, like I've been around people who just like don't really care, but like I'm just sitting there like I can't comprehend this. Like I just don't know what to do. It blows my mind. It's made this much money in this quick. Do we think it's going to catch Avatar?
It might. I think we'll have to keep analysing that over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
See what the percentage of the drop off is going to be.
Yeah. Steve, do you think is the Avatar there? What
It's
are you
on trend
hoping
too.
for? Yeah. Do you think it's going to catch Avatar?
I think it would depend on how cinemas present it still.
It's obviously got some big films in the way. Obviously, this week, Detective Pikachu, which will take some of the... You got Aladdin in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's
John Wick next week.
It's right, it's at the start of the summer, so now it's got the summer to contend with. So we'll see.
That's the big question, how much. But a 58.7% drop, it makes it look like quite a lot, but when 147 million...
It would do well at the multiplexes, but at smaller cinemas, then they'll probably get rid of it for Pikachu,
and
Aladdin.
when you look at... like trending though, like sort of pound for pound next to Infinity War last year, which released at a similar sort of time.
Yeah,
it's tracking at higher
than
what that was. So and that still did okay and still made money after. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So as we look ahead to the predictions for next week, we've got a few films coming out this weekend that decided to let Avengers have some breathing room. So we've got The Hustle, which is Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson. You've got Detective Pikachu, obviously being the biggest film of the weekend. Tolkien and Poms, which are all new releases. So let's move into our predictions. Steve,
I got this.
You've got this. Are you ready this time?
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't written them down. I can see it from here.
I've got them on my fingers though.
Okay.
Right.
5-1. Not this other way round you like to do.
Number 5 is going to be The Long Shot.
Okay.
Right. Number 2 is going to be...
What?
Sorry, sorry. I go from 1 to 5.
5-2.
5 to 2. Okay. Number 5 is going to be Long Shot.
Long Shot.
Yep. Number 4 is going to be The Hustle.
The Hustle.
Number 3, Tolkien. Number 2, Pikachu. Number 1, Endgame. Boom.
Okay. How much money do you think
is in the game making?
for Endgame?
Endgame. Oof.
Cases are tight. You won't be tight on my list, but
147.
Probably going to drop quite a bit. So probably
To what?
Like
Stab a number.
Stab a number? Like 80s, 70s?
give a
That's
number.
not a number.
That's quite vague.
There's
75-ish?
a lot of numbers around there.
75.
75-ish.
75.
Tommy, do you want to go ahead and do yours?
Yep. At number 5, Poms.
Pom.
I think that's counter programming 101.
Yeah,
To
makes
everything
sense.
that's been released. I think
Mhm.
that's number 4. I think you're gonna get a Long Shot. And number 3, I think you're gonna get The Hustle, probably 15 million. Number 2, Detective Pikachu, probably about 50 million.
Right.
With then Endgame at number 1 at about 70.
Right. Okay. We've got a similar sort of list. At 5, we've got Poms. Yeah, it's their counter programming.
It's perfect counter programming.
Yeah, old women love Diane Keaton, and so does Tommy.
I do love that. I've got a poster in my room, literally.
At number 4, I've got Tolkien. I feel like people
Number
just
4,
don't.
Tolkien. Okay.
Yeah, I don't feel like people care enough about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's
I
gonna
don't
make top 5. I think it's too quiet.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not in the top 5. And 3, I've got The Hustle. At 2, Detective Pikachu. At 1, Avengers Endgame.
I think if The Hustle came out in a couple of weeks, it would bang.
Yeah, I've put 70 million for Endgame.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
Yeah, I'm probably go a little bit higher on Pikachu. I reckon about 60.
Oh, really?
I would probably say about 60 as well, 65ish. Because you've got half term for the UK coming up soon.
Yeah,
as well.
I just think
But
those audiences are the same.
It's American. That's what we're banking on.
I know.
It's domestic. So.
I'm just saying, yeah.
I think it's the same audience.
Yeah, it is a very similar audience.
I don't think the market's going to be quite that big for it. That's why I think about 70-50.
No, I don't know. So what about franchise Pokemon?
Yeah, it's a well-known franchise. I think a lot of people care. I think it goes a little bit more to the younger sort of audience.
I think a lot of it's going to be multi-generational, I think, honestly.
Yeah, and I think it's like our sort of generation.
But I just think most of that generation is still seeing Endgame.
Yeah, no,
or have seen it and just.
Which is why I'm going.
Fatigue at the moment of cinema. But,
yeah, there's people who have seen Endgame tens of times.
I mean, I think I can't remember the exact stat, but something like a large percentage of people see like 3 films a year.
Yeah.
So seeing stuff this close, not necessarily.
Yeah, of course.
So.
That's it. For this episode of In Case You Missed It. That's all your film news. We recorded a little bit earlier, which is why we didn't get to speak about the It trailer, which drops.
Or Judy.
We'll put it on Facebook anyway, won't we?
We'll put it on Facebook and we'll talk about it next time. Because It Chapter 2 trailer, I can't wait for. But that's literally later today. So look at our social media for that and when that drops, and then let us know.
What's coming out next week? In Dispute episode 2 next Wednesday.
In Dispute is out on Wednesday, so go and listen to that if you want.
6 p.m. British summertime.
Yeah,
summertime.
If you want to hear our In Dispute, it's the second episode of In Dispute that's out. So if you haven't listened to that, go and check that out. And go and follow us on all the social medias. Like us on Facebook, on Instagram.
Rate review on iTunes.
Rate and review on iTunes. Follow on Spotify. Subscribe to YouTube if you haven't already, and leave a like and a comment if you want.
We'll be at Comic-Con at the end of the month.
We will be at Comic-Con.
So
if you see us.
We'll be interviewing some people. Let us know if there's any
questions
questions you might have, or anything you want us to do while we're there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Might have more to announce soon. Stay posted.
Where can they find you at Twitter?
At Mr. TT Green.
Stevie Poo Poo.
At Stevie Poo Poo.
And I'm at Floodgate28. And see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.